All right, thank you so much for being here. This is really a great day coming out of COVID on the journey we have to getting back to normal, more equitable Seattle. And I'm just thrilled to be joined today by Mariners Chairman John Stanton, as well as Sounders Majority Owner Adrian Hanauer, and Assistant Coach Gonzalo Pineda, sorry about that. As we celebrate this new partnership between the city and our home teams. Today, I am proud to say that just over 70% of Seattleites, 16 and older, have received at least their first dose of vaccinations. It's a remarkable threshold that we've reached, and it shows how much people care about each other and their family, and it shows that we as a city, throughout this pandemic, have stood up to do the right thing for ourselves, for our neighbors, for our community. And we're here today because our teams have done that too, showing the way. I mean, it started with the Storm in a wubble getting a championship, the Seahawks being the one team in the league with the lowest level of COVID, and today joined by the Mariners and the Sounders on just an extraordinary partnership. If we continue what we're doing, we think we will have a level of community protection where many of us, particularly our most vulnerable, are not any longer susceptible to severe illness or hospitalizations. Seattle has had incredible successes in our vaccination effort. In January, our Seattle firefighters, many are here today, as well as Chief Scoggins, became the first emergency medical group to administer vaccines in Washington state. And in March, we launched the largest civilian mass vaccination site in the country. And if you haven't been over to Lumen Field to see it when it's operating, it truly is the happiest place on earth. We have been able to vaccinate our residents quickly and efficiently. And 46% of those people that the city has vaccinated come from our communities of color, who were the communities that were hit hardest by COVID, both the health and the economic impacts. That's nearly 15% more than the population of BIPOC in Seattle. It comes not just from our intentional efforts, but from joining with those community-based organizations who people trust and who care enough about the community to stand up and help us in our efforts. But the last couple of weeks, it's been clear, we've had more supply than we've had people wanting to get the vaccine. We knew we were going to have this shift. We thought it would be closer to the end of May and beginning of June, but we've hit it sooner, which is good news. It's good news because if you want a vaccine, you can get a vaccine. And today we're announcing some new innovative ways to do that, and ways that the teams themselves has set the pace and the example for our city. We are focusing on removing barriers to access. So many people in our region couldn't get the vaccination. We wanted to make sure that we made it as accessible and equitable as possible. If you have not been vaccinated, please get vaccinated. You don't need an appointment any longer for Lumen Field, Rainier Beach, or West Seattle. Just walk right up, get your vaccination. And this week, we're going to have evening hours at Rainier Beach and West Seattle, so it's easier for people who have to work during the day or have other obstacles. If you know someone who hasn't gotten vaccinated, take them to get vaccinated. That's a way to show that you love them. And it's why we're also bringing other ways to bring vaccines directly to our residents. On Sunday, our Seattle fire team was inside Sounders Stadium, and it was sleeves up, scarves up. And they were able to vaccinate 83 people. Today, Seattle Fire Department will be right here for Mariners fans. If you're coming to the game and haven't been vaccinated, look for the station and get vaccinated. And in fact, because it's a baseball game, you can either hit a single or a double. We're going to be giving either J&J a one-shot vaccination, or we'll be giving one of the two-shot vaccinations, your choice. We know we need more protection for our community, and we're urging everyone to take what they can. Again, I really want to thank John Stanton, not just for what the team is doing today, but since the beginning of the pandemic, he and other leaders in this community have been doing everything they can for a healthier, better Seattle and region. Whether it was all in Washington or all in Seattle, we've seen people like him and Adrian and others stand up time after time to make sure that we made it through one of the most difficult times in our city's history. So I want to thank Adrian, the Mariners, and the Sounders for all that work. And of course, I cannot have a vaccination event without thanking Chief Scoggins and his fire department. They truly are second to none in the nation when leading on this. I want to urge all Seattleites to please get vaccinated. And if you've been vaccinated, congratulations. It's really the marquee to what we need going forward. I hope everyone in your life gets vaccinated too. We also are learning, probably later this week, that younger people will soon be eligible, so stay tuned for some announcements on how we're going to work with schools and others to make sure that our young people can be vaccinated. So for that, I'm now going to turn it over to John Stanton, Chairman of the Mariners. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Durkan. It is a true honor to be here with you, and thank you for your leadership throughout this pandemic. It's been remarkable what Seattle has done to respond to this. We are honored to be here in T-Mobile Park introducing this great new vaccine initiative. It is not the first thing that the Mariners have done, because our commitment to vaccinating Seattle has come since the beginning of the pandemic. We had testing with Seattle Fire Department here last year during the pandemic. We made a commitment during the spring to partner with the University of Washington Medical Center to offer vaccines through pop-up clinics, Harborview, and we partnered with our good friends at Virginia Mason for a vaccination of our players, of our staff in this building. And now we're taking it to the fans themselves, and we're thrilled to be able to do that beginning tonight in our game against Baltimore. Think about this. Our game starts at 7:05, our gates open at 5:05, and needles go into arms at 5:05 when the gates open. We're standing in one of the 3 different areas. Edgar's home run area is one of the places where we'll be vaccinating people. Section 106, main level, behind at the center field entrance, and the 300 level, directly the top level, the view level, 300 level at the rooftop boardwalk area. Each of those areas will have Seattle Fire Department people vaccinating anyone who comes up. No appointments necessary, no questions asked. They'll have, as the mayor said, both Johnson & Johnson, and tonight we're going to also have Moderna first shot. And if you get the first shot here, you'll be able to get the second shot at Lumen Field or one of the other Seattle Fire Department locations. All fans 18 and older are eligible. And we have one more thing that we'll be introducing later this week, and that's an incentive program. If you come here and you have been vaccinated, stay tuned for some special announcements we'll be making in the next 48 hours with respect to incentives to get vaccinated and come and see a game, have some good food, get a t-shirt, and enjoy T-Mobile Park and Seattle Mariners baseball. With that, I'm going to turn it over to my good friend Adrian Hanauer to give some remarks on behalf of the Sounders. Adrian?
Run in practice here. Mask glasses confusion. John, you'll keep an eye on the batting cage, right? And make sure no one hits it up here.
Yeah, I was going to say it, and the pitchers are going to be warming up down below as well. So.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you again. To echo some of John's words, amazing leadership from the mayor, from the governor, county executive, mayor. I was speaking with the mayor earlier this week, and you know, this is a great place to live. This is, in my opinion, the best city in North America. And some of the leadership that you're seeing today is a big reason for that. Whether it's the mayor, the fire chief, the team that supports them, of course, and the citizens of this community, the city, the county, who've come out in droves, gotten vaccinated. You know, it's new. Some people are hesitant to it. We get it. But the fact that people have stepped up 70%, obviously we've got 30% left to go, which is where we come in. Proud to be partnering with John and the Mariners, doing our part at Sounders games as well to vaccinate individuals. And we understand to some degree it's going to turn into hand-to-hand combat. You know, there are a number of people who are going to be hesitant and have questions. We're here to say we're all vaccinated. We've done it. We're fine. And we feel good, and it allows our community to come back to life and get back to normal, to get back to hugging our friends and family, to attending events, to going to movies, restaurants, baseball games, soccer games, and really enjoying the quality of life that we all expect from living in this part of the world. So anyway, in particular, I'm super proud of the Sounders organization. Gonzalo Pineda is a leader in our organization, assistant coach for the Sounders. We have a culture that looks organizationally as leaders and role models in our community. And I'm super proud of the Sounders, 100% vaccination within the team and technical staff. Both the Sounders and our Tacoma Defiance second division team, again, allows the protocols to loosen up, allows them to do their best to, again, make this city proud, win games, challenge for championships, make a massive impact in our community, be able to go out to schools, hospitals, events again, and do all the things that we strive to do as sports organizations. So with that, I am going to pass it on to Gonzalo Pineda, our assistant coach, originally from Mexico, a Mexican national team player, but more importantly, a former Sounder player and now assistant coach for the Sounders. So Gonzalo?
Glad I don't wear glasses. Thank you all for coming. I'm very happy to be here. I think it's a great day for both organizations, for the city. I think in my experience as a soccer player, as a recently assistant coach of the team, I always work in teams, in clubs that care about their fans. And it's the first time I've seen a club that cares about the whole community. It's a big difference, and in my environment, I love that. That's one of the main reasons why I love the Seattle Sounders, why I love the Seattle. I've been living here with my family for 8 years, and I can tell you I'm very proud belonging to this community, this club. And as you heard from Adrian from the news, we are fully vaccinated, whole players, the whole coaching staff, all the staff, everybody's vaccinated. I want to add that it was an easy process, it was safe, and it was the best for us to get back to some sort of normality. And I think that's very important. So the encouragement, I'm also part of the Latino community for sure. You've heard that it's one of the minorities that has been more impacted by this terrible disease. And I would like to encourage all the Latinos to get vaccinated. Not just the Latinos, but all the minorities, all the Washingtonians. I would love to see the day where we can enjoy the game with full attendance, where we have, normal lives and we can all be safe. So I think this is a great opportunity. All the effort that both organizations and the city and the state and all the people is doing for just caring about the community is fantastic, and I can be more proud of this effort. I would like to pass to you to our Chief Mayor, Mr. Scoggins.
Good afternoon. My name is Harold Scoggins, Fire Chief of the Seattle Fire Department. And I want to lead with a thank you to our mayor for pushing our team to get things like this done. And I want to thank John and Adrian, the Mariners and the Sounders for the partnerships. You know, it really means a lot. You know, as of yesterday, we had vaccinated almost 97,000 people by the Seattle Fire Department. I think in the next day or two, we're probably going to go over 100,000 people. That's pretty significant. You know, for those of you out there who may be a bit hesitant, what I'll tell you as the Chief of the Seattle Fire Department is we got you. When you call 911 on your worst day, you call us. You come to us, we'll get your vaccination done, and we got you. If anything goes wrong, we're right there for you. I do want to announce a couple changes and transitions. You know, this week we have announced that at our West Seattle site and our Rainier Beach site, appointments are no longer needed. And at those sites, you can now get the Pfizer, the Moderna, or the Johnson & Johnson. So it's kind of a you pick it to make it happen. And then beginning tomorrow on May 5th, if you were vaccinated in another location with your first dose, you can now come to our hubs at West Seattle or Rainier Beach and get your second shot. We just ask that you try to bring that vaccination card, or we'll just look you up in the system. But if we don't find you in the system, you may get the first dose over again, because we really want to get this done. You know, we were fortunate this past Sunday to be allowed inside the Sounders game to do vaccinations, and as the mayor mentioned, we were able to do 83 people at the Sounders game. That's pretty significant. We're going to continue that effort, you know, over the coming days and weeks to continue to move our community in the right direction. And tonight, beginning tonight, as John mentioned, we're going to be here, right here in the ballpark at 3 different locations. And the locations are Edgar's Home Run Porch, near left field foul pole, right here, near the Sultan of Suds, at the top of the center field gate, out there, and the rooftop boardwalk at the view level. So my encouragement is to all of you out there who've been thinking about it. John, you're probably going to like this. We're going to ask that you step up to the plate and get vaccinated. So come to the Seattle Fire Department sites, come to the game. Either way, we got you. Thank you, and I'll pass it back to the mayor.
Is that kind of like hit your own home run, get a vaccination?
There you go.
Look, I can't thank the leadership of both John and Adrian. I will say quite literally, within minutes of the announcements of what we were doing as a region with the governor and the county executive, I got a call from each of them saying, how can I help? And we've seen time and time again people in this region step up because it's the right thing to do. And the right thing to do now for you, for your family, for the region, for the city, is to get vaccinated. Get that shot in your arm. It is the door we have to go through to recover locally. And I don't know how many of you, I've got so many memories from this last year, but one of the ones that seared into my memory was the early days in Kirkland, to see someone visiting their mother on the other side of the window and they just had their hands up touching glass. We were separated in so many ways. This is a way for us to come back together again. So I want to thank you for your leadership and commitment, and thank all the people of Seattle. It's amazing that almost 70% of people have gotten their first vaccination. We are one of the first in the nation of the cities to reach that. San Francisco's a little ahead of us, so if you're competitive, get your vaccination tonight. Any questions?
Hey, Durkan, how did this all come together? Given that, Washingtonians 16 and older weren't eligible until April 15th, and then here we are 2 weeks later, we have the season at the ballpark.
Yeah, it's a great question. How did it all come together when 16 and older weren't all eligible and we didn't have vaccine, now we have vaccine? I have to thank the chief, the city team, the county executive, the governor. We have been working so closely together in public health since the beginning, thinking what's the next thing we're doing. And we knew we were going to get to a stage where we would have more vaccine than people, and how could we scale it? We would not be where we are as a region today if we hadn't had the testing that the Seattle Fire Department and the City of Seattle stood up early. That was one of the critical things we had to be the leader in the country. Of all the cities in America, we had the lowest level of disease and hospitalizations. That's pretty amazing, because we were the first in with no guidebook. And then you looked at the next thing. We would not be where we were on vaccinations today if we hadn't been able to stand up Lewin Field. And that took great partnerships between First and Goal and the Seahawks, between Swedish Hospital, the City of Seattle. It's staffed by volunteers. I had a story today, one of my people that works with me at the city went to get his vaccination, and he looked and it was his dentist giving him his vaccination. Everybody has been chipping in, and that's how we've gotten this far.
Mayor, a quick question just about the youth. You mentioned that maybe some more guidance will come when it comes to maybe those under 16 years old, but right now we're seeing the biggest surge of cases between those 20 to 29. A lot of college students, a lot of people maybe just feel immune to it or have their own reasons to be hesitant. How do you address that?
So the question is, how do we address the fact that some people who are eligible seem to be driving the uptick in the disease, and that's mostly our younger people between 18 and about 27. And we're trying to reach them every way we can. We work really closely with the University of Washington and the other colleges to say, how do we get more information to the students to have them do less dangerous behavior and to get vaccinated? We know that's where the push has to be. The good news we saw today was the governor was able to pause and not roll our city back. And one of the main reasons is because even though we are seeing an uptick in disease, the seriousness of the hospitalization and the duration has gone down because the people who are most vulnerable to this disease, we vaccinated. And so we're in a race against, vaccine versus virus. And we want vaccine to win. And I'll say one last thing is, we've been playing defense for 14 months. This 2020 was the longest year ever. No one told us it was going to be 18 months. This is one of the first things we go on offense and we're in control. By getting vaccinated, we kind of start charting our own destiny. So get vaccinated for yourself, for your family, for your loved ones, and watch the game. I mean, that's a twofer you can't resist. Thanks.